reality of God's presence with us. God is with us in the midst of our lament, in the midst of our grief, in the midst of our brokenness. God doesn't promise that things will be erased, that the clock will be wound back, that everything will be restored. God says, I will make all things new. And that means you and me. God is with us to give us healing. You know, one of the things that I've heard said on more than one occasion when someone is grieving, and it just makes me kind of cringe, is, well, this is your new normal. Okay, I don't want this. This is not anything that I signed up for, and if this is the new normal, you can keep it. Doesn't mean that it's the new normal, but it is reality. And God's promise is God walks with us in that reality, whatever that reality looks like. In those days of joy and satisfaction, God walks with us. In those days where it takes every bit of our emotional, spiritual, and physical energy to put one foot in front of the other, God walks with us. God walks with us when laughter and joy breaks into our life. And God walks with us when tears come way too easily. God walks with us when we are smiling and playing. And God walks with us when we look at a friend of ours as we're walking down a hall in the hospital and we say, I really just want to put my hand through a wall right now. God walks with us. You see, God has called us out of our own darkness into his incredible light. God has called us out of our own brokenness into his wholeness. God has called us out of our own grief into his peace. God has called us out of our lament into his joy. Now, most of us don't walk in one category or the other. We walk someplace in the middle. Not in the great sunshine or the deep darkness, but someplace in those golden hours, just as the sun is setting and the sky is beginning to turn purple, or just in those morning hours when the sun is beginning to rise and it's still just a little hazy and dark outside. Most of us live our lives in that place. Not completely paralyzed by lament, but not completely standing on top of a mountain singing praise to God. If you remember, years and years and years ago, we had a sermon that was something about this, I think we did it on Transfiguration Sunday, and we talked about how God is with us in the valleys and God is with us on the mountain, and quite honestly, those two places are probably the easiest to be. Because when we're in the valley of death, nobody expects or demands anything from us, and we can just be. When we're on top of that mountain of joy and peace, everyone looks to us and goes, I wish I could be like them, and there's peace. But if you remember, I said I come from West Virginia. Being on top of the hill is a nice place to be. Being in the valley is not a bad place to be, but most of us walk with a limp because we walk along the side of the mountain, and that's exhausting. The old joke, how can you tell a West Virginian? It's because one leg is shorter than the other because we've been walking this way our entire life. That's where we walk in our life of faith, y'all. The hard journeys. The journeys where sometimes we feel like we're cutting away more brush than we are taking steps, where we feel like every step we take, we are wrapped in a vine holding us back. Walking on the side of the hill where every day our lungs burn and our legs ache. God is with us on the side of the mountain as well. Dear friends, we believe. God helps our unbelief. Where is God in all of this? The same place that God has always been. Not on some heavenly throne, in the far recesses of heaven. But God is in the midst of God's people, knitting us together with peace that passes all understanding, with hope that sustains, with love that consoles, and with those moments, maybe short, maybe spread out too far, but those moments of incredible joy as we remember, as we share, as we get out of our own way and remember that God is God. Lament, dear friends, is an act of faith. And many days, it is the only act of faith that we have the energy to give, is to ask, is to beg, is to question. Where are you, oh God? Where are you? And in those moments, in those times that we feel that God is so far away, the promise of Scripture says that God is with us. The rod and staff giving us comfort, spreading the feast for us as we deal with our enemies. Where is God in all this? Look around, right here, with us, right now.